Welcome to the Rustybug podcast.
Good afternoon, Sanbonani Molweni. Welcome to the Rustenburg Girls podcast. We're finally here. I've been anticipating this conversation for a very long time. As you will see, this is a quite different podcast. We've got video on, and I'm very excited and very nervous because I've got these three people in this table I really look up to. They're actually my bosses. So it's not very easy having this conversation with them. Firstly, let me introduce Belinda Peterson, who is the principal at Rustenburg Girls Junior. Welcome, Belinda.
Hello.
And Hendrik Murray, I call him Henny. You know, I found everyone calling him Henny. Yeah, Henny heads up the music department or the creative arts department. Is it the music department or the creative arts department?
I think it's now the creative arts department.
Henny is responsible for all the creative ideas at Rustenburg. Even this idea of podcasting, I stole it from him. Sitting with him, you get a lot of ideas. And Unati Stoffel, she is the new SGB chair. Chair, how are you? Do they greet you like that? Like, I feel like it's some politician vibe where you're like, Chair, Honorable Chair, how are you?
Thank you. I go by Honorable Chair in these streets.
Yeah. Quite exciting to have you here. What grade is your daughter, by the way?
Grade 3.
Grade 3, wow. What age? Grade 3, that's 10 years?
Yeah,
9 years.
10.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Very exciting I think I want to start with the chair, you know. You first start with the chair before we go anywhere else. I mean, you coming to Rustenburg just at a time that we've put in a strategic transformation journey that we've been in for 5 years. The previous SGB and before that, they've done a lot of work, and it's just times are changing now. We've seen huge changes that's been happening. We are on year 5 now, the final year. Oh, sorry, year 4. That's been correcting me there. We are on year 4 now, and you coming in as the new SGB, and there's this huge change. I mean, I don't take for granted this new change that's happening there. Song launch. How does that make you feel as the SGB?
I think, firstly, it's to acknowledge all of the work that has been done from the past SGB, as well as all of the various committees of the SGB. So there's a strong foundation that we can only build on.
Yeah.
So that's really a comfort to come into. It's not all greenfields territory.
Yeah.
So we just build on the foundation that's been laid.
Yeah.
And so personally, I'm excited about the change. I thrive in, change.
Yeah.
And I think it's good. The fact that it's the 130th birthday celebration year makes it all the more meaningful.
Yeah.
So coming to the school song in particular, perhaps before answering the question about SGB in the context of the school song, perhaps if we just reflect on the purpose of a school song itself.
Sure.
For me, it really articulates the vision, the purpose and collective identity whilst you are at school. It also, from a learner perspective, I suppose to a certain degree, the staff also reminds us of why we are in school. It also then expresses the vision of the school in our lives. So there's a personal aspect that you take out of it whilst you are at school, and certainly reflecting on my almost 30 years out of school. Yeah. It's the connector as you meet out of school. And I'm sure in moments you break into the school song. So it's really about what unified you whilst you were there, but also as an adult, the values, the discipline that came with it are points of reflection. It also then, whilst you are at school, inspires the school community, parents, staff, as well as the learners in terms of working together towards a brighter future.
Yeah.
And I think most importantly, at an individual level, also inspires the learners to push through every single day, towards that brighter future and to make everything of themselves in terms of developing to their full potential.
Yeah.
And so with that long answer, So coming to it, I think the role we play as an SGB is to enable the delivery of the 5-year strategic plan, and also to play a role in ensuring, there's good governance around it. And so, as I mentioned earlier, the symbolism of the 130th birthday, and we unveil this new song, also talks to our partnership along with the school, the SMT, and the rest of the team in terms of taking Rustenburg, further another 130 years.
Sure. I must say, from what you've just answered, this makes me very excited about a lot of other changes that are coming. You did not say it in so much words, but it seems like positive change is coming, and we should start embracing it as a school community. And one of the key things, Nati, is that Mrs. Peterson here, who's sitting right next to me, every time we have a meeting and a staff connection or training, she speaks about the why. And I want to bring it to her to say, but why? Why are we doing all of these changes? And how does this align to the 5-year strategic plan?
Yeah, you're giving all my secrets. Now, everything starts with why. I mean, if your why isn't clear, why you're doing something, the what and the how doesn't always make sense. And so, yes, I do always start with why. But for us, it was really around why we exist as a school, and bearing in mind, as Unati said, we are 130 years, as Rustenburg. That's what we're celebrating this year. And there's certainly been a strong history of academic excellence, as well as many other areas, and really looking towards how we solidify that as a school and speak into not just the history, but also where we are in the current world that the girls are growing up in, and their future. And so, as part of our strategic plan, which is now in year 4, but I know we're really talking about year 5 because we're really planning ahead, which is what we do. But it's been an exciting journey in itself, and I think what Tunati said earlier, just around building on the foundation. There's been lots of building blocks that have happened up until, even before we started this 5-year strategic plan, which in itself was a whole school alignment process, and bringing people on board and just unpacking who we are as Rustenburg, why we exist, and what are the things that we need to do going forward. And so one aspect, there are 8 strategic themes in that plan, but lying within one of the themes is around reviewing traditions of the school. And whether they still align with where we are now, with our vision, as you said earlier, Unati, but also the current and the future. We do have a strong 130-year history, but some of those things served well in the past, but they don't serve well in this diverse world that the girls are growing up in now, and for the future generation. So part of it is, the traditions is the school song. We've also done a couple of additions and changes to our uniform and things like that, and it's a process. We haven't changed everything in one go, and that's certainly not what we're planning to do. And it's also with intention. If something works well and still is relevant, we keep it. So that's not to say that everything is going to change, but as part of our strategic plan and process of being a school that is building on its history, but also being relevant in the current world and future, this is part of that process.
Sure. Belinda just spoke about and this is a conversation that I was having with a friend just this past week, and he was speaking about a story, telling me why they were breaking chicken's bones before they were putting it into the oven, and he was speaking about for years and years and years, the greatest grandmom was doing it and all of those things. And when they actually found out why they did that, is that in the olden days, the oven was small to fit in the chicken. But now we live in this new era, which you don't necessarily have to do that anymore, And I think this is maybe a question that I want to bring to Henny, because a lot of time we get used to the tradition, we get used to certain things. And when change comes, some embrace it, some is difficult to embrace it. It takes time to embrace it. But and how you identify with a certain school, with the school song, what it means to you, it's quite big. But I want to speak about your biggest highlights for the previous school song. Should I call it the previous yet? Okay, sorry. Let's call it the current school song because we haven't introduced the new one.
Yes, and Tapela, I think for me, I sang the current school song for the last 16 years. Interesting enough that over the weekend when I gave some thought as well, I remembered after my first assembly that I walked back into the music department and my reference to the melody was, why do we need to jump like bunnies over the street if we sing a school song? But that was my interpretation 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Of course, I've got then the proud Rustybug myself.
Yeah.
And I started singing the school song very proudly every week as well at assemblies, at all festivities at school. I think, but what was very evident for me, the school song, like all school songs that dated back 150 years, 150 years for some schools, even longer for other institutions, was about school pride.
Yeah.
I think it was all about school pride and a group, masses of people that's buying into school pride.
Yeah.
Yes, that was what was good because it created definitely that. Do I think the vocabulary, the language used, current? It was not current anymore for me because I don't even refer to that type of language in my own sense, in my own communication anymore. So it became very difficult for me to sell it to the girls, to make the girls believe in the words because the context, the sentence constructions didn't make sense to them anymore because that's not the way they talk or the way they think for that matter.
Sure. Okay, let's now bring about the highlight for the new school song. A lot of people have not had this, but I just want to know, just the in. What can they expect in the new school song?
I'm extremely excited about the new school song. I think if I compare it now again with the current school song, the entire first part of the new school song is actually based on where we're located as a school.
Yeah.
It was like that with our current school song as well. We just find new ways of describing our place and our address, really, if you think. For us, it was very important to remember at all times, there's an enormous force of water running underneath the school coming from Table Mountain.
Sure.
Water being a sense of life, sense of growth, being extremely important in learning. And I think that is what both the school songs still will capture. The old school song or the current school song still captured that as well. But
Sure.
for us, it was just to make it more relevant, to bring it more to the forefront. The girls' understanding. There's this huge force of water running underneath this building. That water is really meaning something to us. But that we must also remember, as a school, our vision have moved towards character development of our girls. I think modern society is expecting that of us. We do this wonderful thing of every week we introduce affirmation to the girls and we want them to start believing in these affirmations. The school song, the new one, is really affirmation.
Yeah.
It's very limited words, but it makes it possible to believe in that for each one. Each
Sure.
girl can reach the potential.
Yeah.
of that.
I kind of felt like what you just said to me with so little words, but the meaning behind it, it just takes me back to Mpembelelo. That theme last year where we were focusing and we were speaking about impact and really the symbolism of it was like a drop of water. And you just touched on that. And then maybe, Belinda, let's bring you in now. Let's discuss, or maybe let's talk about one of the strategic themes is engaging stakeholders. And of course, this whole process. I don't think you wake up in the morning and you just decide to change a school song. What was the process of engaging stakeholders, or the community rather?
Well, first of all, to be honest with you, the process of looking at the possibility of a new song actually started before I came to Rustenburg.
Sure.
And I've been here 5 years. So it's not a conversation that's just picked up recently. It's actually been an ongoing conversation with previous governing bodies, I don't know, 3 or 4 governing bodies ago probably, around, the meaning of a school song. And that's not to say we're not getting rid of the current school song, absolutely not. That is very much a part of the school's history. But it was just around, how we move forward. And so through this process, it's been a long process of different kinds of engagements over a period of time. Definitely wanting to engage alumni and having some alumni input around that. And the one key aspect was we actually, I don't know if we still have it, but a parent choir that also included some alumni who are not parents of the school, but it's a lovely mixture of people who've been part of Rustenburg for an exceptionally long time. And also being involved in music, they understand music, so we got quite a bit of input from that group, current staff, the older learners, just engaging with them around the understanding of a school song and this new school song that we were looking at. And so there has been stakeholder engagement, as you said, it's part of our strategic plan.
Yeah.
And just trying to understand how we, as a school community, best speak into who we are.
Yeah.
And what we believe and why we exist.
Sure. That is amazing, because when I think about this, about the importance of the community involvement, the parents, the staff members, the girls, and everyone, we're just part of this whole community that really wants to see Rustenburg go beyond 130. Can you speak to us about the compilation of the song?
Well, I think first it was very important to remember also that styles of music have changed over years, especially if you think of our 150-year period. Things that we've listened to 150 years ago is maybe not relevant to young people these days. The style of singing have changed. I think where it was very apparent to us that 150 years ago music was composed in a march-like style, and that was how we built school pride. For us, thinking back at the fact that we're also dealing with a girls' school context, we'd like it to be a bit more storytelling. I think that is one thing that I just love so much about the fact that girls can tell so much stories, and the school song must actually underline that and support that, to tell a story of a place where we all belong, where we all can contribute, but also where we all can create a life, where we all can live in harmony, better it for others. I think it was important that the school song become more of a ballad in order to tell that story and to bring that love up. Because as the ballad style of music, that's showing love a lot and affection a lot. And we needed to bring affection back into the school song in the new format.
Sure. I feel like you're ahead of time, 2030. You're bringing in the storytelling into this. Yeah. I mean, that's forward thinking. And back to you, Unati, as SGB. I mean, the school song, we've spoken about the school song. This is not just a song. We've really had this conversation, and as I'm going through everyone's answers, it's like, this is not something you wake up in the morning and you just go sing and whatever. There's so much emotions involved, vision involved, and so much around it. What I want to speak about what the school song symbolizes and how does it influence where we are now and where we want to go from an SGB point of view.
I think just taking in what we've collectively spoken about. And as Henny just spoke through the actual composition. I think it has all of those elements and aspects. So one, having read the lyrics, I think it centers and grounds one. So it talks about my sense of belonging. But also it then locates me. So it's in Rondebosch, with this water element symbolizing, new life, growth, all of the things that you associate with water. And then for me, I suppose then if you take it to teaching, tying in with the school vision and perhaps our role then as an SGB, it talks about a goal and a vision that transcends our everyday lives. So what we do today is for the future, is for tomorrow. So 130 years on, that girls will still be singing and believing in the song, with pride. So it really talks to, I think, what Belinda was saying. It's been thought through and really engaged on. And I think much as we come with our different perspectives, with us all having been in school and we have our experiences, I think the crux for me, certainly in the SGB context, but also as a parent, was hearing the excerpt of the school song sung by the girls themselves. And that really then just really anchors us in terms of who we are solving for in this particular instance. And if it can be simple, believable, and sell a vision, then I think we've accomplished what we set out to do. Sure.
I feel like it sounds like from the conversation that I'm having, and I'm thinking about this birth of new life and going, it's like I'm a new dad. And I saw my daughter from 1 month, 3 months, 9 months. It's all different experience, but it's beautiful to see. And going forward, I think when the girls start singing the song, you hear it differently. I mean, it was presented, and there was a time where Pam did a video of the girls singing without the girls actually noticing there was someone recording, but it just gives a different melody. You understand it differently, you know. And I think you the SGB management and everyone who was part of this did a wonderful job. And
if I can just add, sorry, without interrupting. I mean, it also conjured up imagery for me. You know, there's an African proverb that, you know, you plant trees that you'll never sit in the shade of.
Sure.
So in essence, that's it for me, to have done all due diligence. And for it to bear fruit for the future.
Yeah. And what should this new song do to a Rustenburg girl?
I will tell you, I think the first thing was to find that language that can talk to someone at the age of 6 years old. And it can have exactly the same impact that it will have on someone at the age of 13.
Sure.
Oh, yes, there's a 6-year span, the difference. But can I tell you, to find the language that can talk to each of those age groups, it's just not an easy thing. For us, it was really to simplify lyrics, to make it simple, but also to make it tangible, to tell the words that we use every day in school. We want them to be compassionate. We want them to be diligent. We want them to live in harmony. We want them really to feel for each other. And then to say, if we do that, we all can live in harmony. But harmony is also for us to live in peace. And I think that, whether we're 6 years old, whether we're 12 years old, whether we are 50 years old, is a big art in living to know whatever I do, I need to measure it against those measurements of, am I really contributing to peace? Am I really creating a better place for all? If we install it in character development, if we install it in values for these girls, they need to sing it. They need to sing it, to feel it, and to experience it. So it was to simplify text, to bring it back to basics. And today, I will tell you, if I read the chorus of the new school song, it actually makes me quite emotional, because it's much more powerful than I've ever picked it up before. And I'm a traditionalist, very strong traditionalist as well. But I can tell you, to read something like Rustenburg Girls Junior, where we all belong, here all our differences make us strong. Conquerors of our stories, we chase our destiny, creating a better place for all, harmony. That is powerful, Tupelo. Very powerful. And it's going to be powerful for the next 150 years, hopefully.
Cool, let's hear this new song.
I think before we do that, just to add, is also the new song, unlike the current song, is in 3 languages.
Oh, wow.
And you know, I meant to mention it earlier and I forgot, but you know, I think that's also something that reflects who we are as a school, is to embrace be multilingual, be multicultural, and that's been part of the journey that we've been on in terms of our introduction of first additional language, and you know, being a school community that reflects a sense of belonging, even in terms of language.
Cool.
And so just learning parts of the song in Afrikaans and Xhosa as well has been fantastic.
No, I was
Well
about to
done to
ask
the
about
team.
the 3 languages, English, Afrikaans, and Xhosa. Cool. Let's hear this new song.
So will we do the chorus for you?
Yes, let's do the
So
chorus.
I'm going to try to do that, and I'm going to get support from the chorus at the back as well. Rustenburg Girls Junior, where we all belong. Here all our differences make us strong. Conquerors of our stories, we chase our destiny, creating a better world for all in harmony.
Sha. I feel like we're in the wrong career.
In the heart of Rustenburg, in the mountains embrace, built on falls of water, we take our place, arriving every day, eager to explore. We strive to give our best and open every door. Rustenburg Girls Junior, where we
for joining us. I think I'm just going to open the table for closing remarks. Anything that maybe I did not ask that you feel that we need to cement in terms of the school song. Over to you, Unati.
No, just closing comments from my side is I think how it brings together all of the change.
Yeah.
As Henny spoke through, just in how the song is constructed, see elements of the vision coming through. It's all about the confidence building. And I think for me, again, reflecting on my school journey, if I read through the song, it's certainly something that resonates even into adulthood.
Yeah.
And I hope beyond Rustenburg that the girls can really find, everyday moments just to reflect on what those foundations were once they are, women, whether in the workplace, entrepreneurs, whatever their potential, is meant to be.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take you to the second verse of the song, actually, to bring that words up, because there's so much captured in the second verse that's saying, when we're all together, it's an ocean of blue. That's referring to our school uniform and how we look. But the power of an ocean, we know exactly the power of water, ocean itself as well. But then it's adding a lot. It's saying respectful, independent, curious too, kindly, and bravely, we face every trial, compassionate, uplifting, we share and we smile. Oh my word, if that is the message we send young people out in this world, I can just think it's going to be a better world for all.
Yeah.
Sure. So it goes beyond the walls of Rustenburg.
Yep.
It's so much bigger than that. I think the school song, I think Rustenburg is so much bigger than that.
Yeah.
Therefore, the school song had to fit into that, to say, we want to carry a universal language out there, message out there that's saying it's really encompassed, taking everything in its stride to make it better for everyone.
Yeah. Mrs. Peterson?
Yeah, I think the new song epitomizes the strength of Rustenburg over the past 130 years. As I said before, we're not throwing away the current song. It is certainly very much a part of the school's history and what we celebrate, and has been that anchor, as you mentioned before, for so many of the girls who've come through Rustenburg over the years, and will always be that. Yeah. It's just now being a school that better reflects where we are and going into the future and what we continue to believe in and how we expand on that. And just, I think the symbolism in both songs have been quite strong and in the current song, but also in this new song. And it's just in different ways, and change is something to celebrate and embrace. And yes, it is difficult and the current song is still going to mean many things for many of our girls, in years to come, which we still celebrate. But it's just also looking to the future. And so, for all the alumni who listen to this podcast, who connect so well to the current school song, don't let that go. That is still Rustenburg. Yeah. It's still part of who we are. Yeah. We're just venturing into something that is more, speaks more to where we are now and where we're going to in the future.
Cool. Thank you very much. There we go. Be on the lookout for the launch. I don't want to mention any launch date, but I'm just going to say just be on the lookout for dates. All comms will be sent out to our parents, to our community, Rustenburg community. Thank you very much for everyone for joining us, and thank you very much for the contribution that you do at Rustenburg. We see you, we know what you're doing, and we can see the contribution. It's actually bigger than the Rustenburg walls, like you mentioned. This is going into our societies. We're hoping the girls influence their families at home, their friends, or wherever spaces they occupy, and even the business world, the leadership of the country and so forth, the economy and so forth. So I do think that we are in sometimes we think that we're making a small contribution, but 10 years down the line, when you look at it, it's actually a huge, massive contribution. So thank you very much to everyone, and thank you for joining us. We're out of here.